Welcome, people, back to the PM Hour. Yeah, we love that y'all come in here. You come to the zone because if you're here, that means you like what we talk about. And this is the second part of the two-part episode, and we're gonna get right into it. But first, I have to let you know that one of us is not here. The one y'all love, you know, our sister Tasha.
Yeah,
is not here.
One love to the sis.
But we're going to keep it rocking with the rest of us three. And me first, you know who I am. My name is Patrick.
I'm Terry.
Oh, yes, and I'm Garrett. And, it's all about the melanin, y'all.
All right. So this second part, you know, like we mentioned in the first half, we went to see Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar Johnson.
Brother.
A lot of you guys know who he is. You know, in the first part, we were talking about pan-africanism and how, you know, that's basically what we stand for and that's what he stands for. So, you know, I would say that's a good person, you know, for us to really, like, be aligned with. And so we went, you know, we talked about how we went to see him today. Mm-hmm. You know, and he touched on a lot of things. And so now I want to talk about the education part of it. You know, we had a lot of topics we want to touch on, but I feel like this is one of the big topics as far as like educating, you know, our people, right? That's where we got to start. And you all know he have the school that he have been, you know, trying to build and trying to start for like the past, I think he said like 6 years.
FDMG, Frederick Douglass Marcus
Right.
Garvey Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right?
No, Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, so he talked about how the school is going to be up and running this summer.
Yeah.
Right.
2021. Yeah.
2021 this summer. You know, and just all the stuff that he planned on, you know, teaching at the school, you know, and the different areas we want to take this in. And so I just want to ask you guys, what do you think about some of that stuff? First of all, the school, right? What do you think about him finally starting the school? And then a lot of the stuff that he planned on teaching the young kids at the school.
Well, let me just say, you know, a couple of things come to mind for me. And, you know, one of the things is that, you know, I think about Marcus Garvey. I'm not equating Dr. Umar to Marcus Garvey, but Marcus Garvey said one thing is that it's hard to get black people on the same page. This man is trying to address a problem with this school, and he's trying to do it private. In the speech that we watched, he told us that basically it's hard to just, people question him. If you try to just get funding from black people, it's going to take you longer to do that. Well, you rather do it, take a long time to do it, than to do it wrong. Because if you go to a charter or, you know, traditional schools, then that means you're getting funding from the white establishment and you're not going to be able to do exactly what you want. Right. So going private is a definite harder avenue, and especially if you're trying to get funding from black people. But, you know, he's on a mission, and a lot of people give him flack for that. But, you know, to go on further than that, it's like, okay, well, this is the thing we need to do, the education that we need, the true education we need. Like, what does it take? What does it take? And what are we going to have to do? Because the education your child is getting, it's like you're pushing them into these traditional schools, and you hope they get straight A's.
Yeah, right.
But it's a gamble because they have no true guide. They're not guided in the right way to make them.
And it's really not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. It comes to a certain. And a lot of those people,
the
household they come from, those parents haven't even done that same thing. That's what their wish for the child, but they don't have the kind of training or the position to make that child achieve in that way. It's like some of the child is on their own. So you can go to school in America and get this Western education, go all the way to Harvard and graduate, but it trains you to do what? To only service yourself in Western society. And the same white person can get that training, but you both facilitate one thing, which is to propagate or, you know, everything support white society. So the real education for black people has to come from a place of Afrocentric education, and that's what this man is trying to address.
Exactly.
So think of the bigger picture before you criticize and you hate him. Maybe you don't like Umar Johnson personally. Maybe you don't like the way he talks, maybe something. But then think about it. What is the problem this man is trying to address? What is it? Don't be so short-sighted. Think ahead of that.
the idea is that we're trying to think about the future, right? We're trying to think about what can we leave to generation next. You know what I'm saying? And even starting our own legacies and our personal right? So education for the black youth is definitely one thing that we have to focus on, not just here in these United States, but also in Africa and everywhere that we are in our diaspora. That's why it's Pan-African, because the idea is that we have to touch base with every black person that's out there. The fact he talked about trading schools, I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that Dr. Umar talked about trading schools, this is something I talked about with my brother with. It's something I talked about my sisters with, because most of my sisters, they got kids. Between the two of them, they got like 6 kids between two of my sisters. So I tell them all the time, like, if there's not, and to all my black mothers out there, everyone out there that's subscribed to our show, if there is not like a college you guys already set for your kids, and your kids are still doing good or whatever, the first thing you should do, send your kids when they graduate high school, is send them to a trade school. Now, I'm not saying you should necessarily push them into these jobs, but the idea is this. You got to have skills to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Even though they might have a dream, and it can be anything, whether they want to be like an actor, a rapper, or, I don't really care. They could be a lawyer, doctor. You can still push them to those dreams. But the idea of what I'm trying to tell you is to send them into the trade school is because at least they still have a skill. And
that's foundational. Building a foundation before you even go on to college. So like something at least you can fall back on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That type of thing.
But yes, right. When you have a manual skill that comes with your hands, it's almost like you can always have a job, you know? It's almost recession proof because that's a sustainable skill. If you have a kid that is definitely dreaming about something, go ahead and push them for that, but don't ignore the fact that you want to have skills on top of your talent.
I just want to piggyback and highlight
100.
real quick before you go.
100.
One thing about what he said about what you just said. The thing is too with the skills. I believe he mentioned something about having a with the electrician and the plumbing.
Yeah.
They were paying out a certain amount. I think it was like what 35,
30 to 15. Like 15 times almost double.
It was a lot of money, right?
double.
And he basically compared it to you basically are making more than a physician or more than a doctor in just a span of 3 weeks. That's how valuable those skills are. A lot of doctors, you have to go to college all these years, you pay all this money, you come out, you're actually strapped with a lot of debt for a while before you're able to pay it off. Electrician, it's a trade. You go to a trade school. You're
100.
learning a trade, right?
Yes.
We think, how society try to make it seem, you look down on skills like that, plumbing and, electrician and things like that. Construction even. Yeah. Right? You look down on that. The trade that's more respected, law school and this and that. You spend a lot of money on that, come out with a lot of debt. These people, electricians, construction, they're making more money than you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And they don't promote it in that way. So that's what I'm saying.
100.
Don't sleep on these trade stuff. I like that he
100.
mentioned
Get
that.
the skills.
I just wanted to highlight the part about the money. I think if we said that,
100.
then people will understand what they're dealing with and don't look down on it. And a lot of these white folks, they're not looking down on it. When you look into like electrician, people that own like, their own businesses that having to do with that, having to do with construction, it's white companies.
White prisoners, when they get out of prisons, get automatically hit with these jobs. Automatically, right? Wow. And we're talking about it's maybe like 7 or 8 different of them, right? They get hit with these trade jobs. Not just necessarily exactly when they come out, but even when they get in. They get pushed to them more than they do with the black prisoners that are there. For some reason, they don't get those same opportunities when they're ready for release.
The fault a little bit is ours. We're not using our position. We're not using our position the right way. White people, they're the dominant ones here. So there's Asian and Latin. Yeah. They at least use their position in the right way. Yeah. They use their position to their advantage. We don't even do that. We're not going to be dominant, but we don't use our position.
Yeah. Can I just... okay. Maybe you guys can help me flesh this out. But I want to say I felt some type of way with what you just said, right? Okay. Part of me want to say we are usually stuck in a rock and a hard place. A lot of these Asian people, first of all, they get the benefit of the doubt that we don't get. Yeah. That's one thing. And then they have they get ownership to things that we don't get. So that's also another thing. And they're not coming from the same situation, lower situation that we're coming from. So our fight has to be, on a more multifaceted level where I feel like, yes, we do have to fight the fight of financial. So, we are not loyal sometimes in the way we spend. We do spend incorrectly.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, because we are at the lower end, I feel like that's something we get caught up in, people that do spend that way, which is a certain percentage of us, people that have money. Yes, they spend it on rims and whatnot. But on a whole, our community is on the lower sort of financial, right? We spend a lot of our money, but we don't own a lot of stuff. So a lot of our money, like, we work for it, and then we get it and pump it back out. Even in like football, how we were talking, how about 70% of the NFL is black, African American. Okay, so say half of that decide, I'm not going to play for you because of all the shit that's
It should have happened
on.
with Kaepernick. That's what thought happened. A lot of them didn't even stand up. I get exactly what you're saying.
We are a certain percentage of Amazon service part of it. We not up there like, doing the AWS or whatever, like the little engineer shit.
Yeah.
We are down here packaging and having heart attacks because we're on the line packaging.
And let me say, so your point doesn't really free from mine, because we're talking about position. We don't play our position right. We in a quarterback position and don't know how to play it. We don't do that right.
Right.
Whether we can compare, you're right. We compare ourselves to other races and how they play their position. But however, we do have a position. We utilize what we have.
Our position
where we
is
have.
actually really strong, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
every other position
it
is
is
reliant on our position.
The Asian and Spanish community prey on the black community to fund their community.
Exactly.
They're that.
Who
But
buying y'all hair?
that's advantage.
Who doing all of this stuff? Who coming to do our nails at y'all little
So if we
situations?
simply stop giving them money, stop shopping in their place, and we've been telling ourselves in our community to stop doing that for some time now. If we stop doing that, that's powerful.
Oh,
you know?
Yes.
So we have a position. We just don't play it right.
We don't play
We don't play it right.
No, to be 100, you know what I'm saying, and then bring it in on at home. You know what I'm saying. Again, the idea is to really, talk about the education. You know what I'm saying, of the youth, and that's what we really was talking about. And we was really trying to establish the fact that if you can teach children, specifically African melanated children, African children, if you could teach them young, and you can get them in the idea of what it is to be like African, be Afrocentric, then it doesn't matter when they finish high school. It doesn't matter if they finish the trade school. It doesn't matter the junior college or whatever, or even the jobs. They will always have that African-centric mindset. So they will always come back home, essentially.
Yes.
They will create things that will be beneficial to the black community, and that's all that we're trying to establish, and that's all we're talking about.
I did ask you guys, I didn't want to forget this part, but you reminded me of it when you said, teach the kids young. A lot of the stuff like, love yourself. He did drop that jewel. I did
100.
like that he said that,
100.
where he said all the teachers got to wear their natural
100.
hair.
Yes.
All the, you can't, I don't know if he said this, but you can't just be like dating some white man. We don't tolerate stuff like that.
The brothers gotta be natural too.
Homosexuality. So all I'm saying is get them while they're young. We're talking about, later on you have your kid. Now your kid is older and you're wondering why they dating the white person. You didn't teach them when they were young. I like that this is like a major part of the teaching of
100.
the school. Self-love. It basically comes down to self-love.
Build that confidence.
That's important. So I just want to add
the PM hour. We're gonna go out like that.